So, a little bit about today. Like I said, we've got about a 20-minute workshop here, so 5 minutes or 15 minutes of the presentation and about a 5-minute Q&A afterwards. So we're going to go over the 5 amazing photos that you can get. Absolutely the most fun that you can have on your wedding day is these particular portraits that we have coming up. Tips on how you can do them to set yourself up for success, and also how you got to prepare for them, because the preparation starts well before the wedding day itself, and you'll see that here in just a moment. Now, your photographer that you choose can have all sorts of different styles as far as how they like to shoot. Sometimes they like to do a lot of kind of off-camera flashy type stuff. That's the stuff that I love to do. These kinds of photos right here where you really get to make yourselves pop out of your environment. So to tell you guys a little bit about me, my name is Chris Golden. I'm a wedding photographer based out of the Finger Lakes. I've been shooting for about 10 years or so. I kind of consider my style to be a mixture of fun and fine art wedding photography so that you can enjoy the process of taking your photos and have amazing pieces of wall art to remember it by. I really think that authentic moments lead to exceptional images, so the best way to get amazing photos is to get you guys interacting with each other instead of interacting with the camera, to have an absolutely amazing experience taking your photos. Now, as far as my history of wedding photos, I've been shooting wedding photos for the past 10 years, but to be truthful, I shot my first wedding when I was 8 years old. My mom and dad were getting married in a cold, blustery October day, and they just decided, you know what, we're gonna keep it simple, but I still had my little Kodak stashed off to the side to be able to grab that moment for them. So it's something that I absolutely love doing. A lot of photographers are in it for the fame and fortune and everything. I absolutely love weddings. They are some of my most favorite things to do. My wife is over there helping me out, and we had a blast on our wedding day, and I love being able to take that same experience to you guys. So to start us off here, we're gonna start off with the champagne pop. Now, why do you wanna do a champagne pop? Number one, it's a fun way to kick off your day. A lot of people like to do these during the actual bridal show itself. So you start off, you're hanging out with the I Do crew, and everybody's hanging out having a good time. And honestly, who doesn't love a good mimosa to start the day off? So you pop the bottle of champagne, you get an amazing photo to go along with it, and there's 3 key steps that you might not think about for what goes into a good champagne pop. Number one, you want to delicately remove that cork and just as gingerly as possible get that. And then, you guys remember back in the day when you guys were chasing around each other with the hose, the garden hose? My sister's here and she's giggling really hard right now thinking about the times when she used to spray me with the hose. So what you do is you put your thumb right over the top of that bottle and then you just shake the heck out of it. A lot of people think that this photo is a result of that initial pop of that cork, but really what it is you get that thumb in the right spot and you just shake and you let it go. Now, a couple of challenges that go along with this. This is actually extremely difficult to light for inexperienced photographers, especially photographers that only use natural and available light to them. So the thing is that really fine particles like this, like rain doesn't show up in photos, mist like this doesn't show up in photos, water droplets, that kind of thing, they don't show up. In fact, Hollywood movies actually had a really interesting strategy for how they would get around this. A lot of classic black and white movies, you know, a classic is Singin' in the Rain that had a beautiful rain sequence. But in order to get the rain and the mist to show up, they actually had to mix milk and water into the special effects so that you would see it up on camera. So there's an interesting little strategy for how you work around it right here, and I'm gonna show you right here. But first, a live example of what exactly this looks like. So the first thing, you do the champagne pop. Let me see if there's a volume here. Nope. You're gonna have to take my word for it. So the first thing, pop, thumb over it, and that's how you get it. Now the key here is look at this big, beautiful bay window right behind them that gives so much natural, beautiful looking light. So that is how you get, and if you see closely, you can see all these fine little particles, absolutely beautiful, right all over the place. But you wouldn't get those photos if you don't have it set up correctly. And just to give you an idea of how exactly that works, if you don't have a big, beautiful bay window, for an example, now I was told I was not allowed to pop a bottle of champagne in here, big bummer. So the idea being, this is just a standard can of hairspray, but it has the same exact effect. So if I spray it over here, you barely see it, right? Nothing. If you can have it beautifully backlit like these bay windows here, or oftentimes I'll have to set up a light like this, check this out. Look at that beautiful spray right here. And if you want to step it up a little bit, you can actually add on a little bit of color right there. Look at that orange. So, exact same idea with a champagne pop. You can definitely do this as long as you've got the right type of lighting. Now, on to the next one. We go into the veil shot. Now, how many people here, as a show of hands, already have their dress picked out? I see no guys raising their hands. So that's good to know, because your choice of veil is actually going to make a huge difference in how your photo is going to look. So a beautiful photo like this has a lot going into it on the back end to make sure that it looks amazing. So firstly, length. How long of a veil do you have? Because some of them can be rather short, and that really limits what your options for your veil photos are going to look like. Secondly, how heavy is it? Will it fly up in the air? Some veils fly majestically like an eagle through the air. Some veils flop on the ground like a penguin doing a belly slide. It really depends on what exactly it is that you decide to go with. And then lastly, the material. How many layers does it have? What kind of decorations, beading, tulle, and everything like that that goes into your photos. So for example right here, I've got just a standard veil. I would say, for photo's sake, this is one of the veils that I take with me on all of my weddings, just in case a bride doesn't have it, but they still want a shot. This is a perfect veil because it just gracefully floats through the wind. And when you've got an assistant there to kind of fluff it out, you get that beautiful flying veil shot. Now, this would not be possible if there was a ton of heavy beading at the very bottom of it, if there were multiple layers. So to give you an example of what these kind of photos can look like, let's check it out. So this is a beautiful one right here. This isn't exactly a veil toss. This is more of a veil swoosh. So basically what's happening right here is we've got me, the photographer, shooting at a lower end, and we've got the veil draped along, and it creates this beautiful line of sight to draw your attention right to the picture, right to the portrait of the two of them. Similar here, this is a short veil, but it's still got a little bit of beading at the end of it, so you could still do a nice little toss. It looks absolutely astounding in the air. And if you have a veil that you absolutely love, but it's got all of those things working against you, you can still incorporate your veil and get some amazing photos out of it just by integrating it into your portraits itself and not doing a veil toss. Now we're gonna go into number 3, the dip shot. This is a classic, absolutely beautiful and timeless looking photo. But the positioning is key, and a lot of people don't realize when you do a dip, the way that you actually dip someone makes a huge difference in how it looks. Now there's many, many different ways to do a dip shot, but there's only one way to do it wrong. And the reason that I say that, I would love to introduce you to a very good colleague of mine. This is Tom Andolino. Now, Tom is an absolutely fantastic videographer. He's the owner of Ando Productions, which is a videography company based out of the Finger Lakes region, but he travels all across the place. Absolutely stellar videographer. He's been in the wedding industry just about as long as I have, so he knows the ropes. However, it can't stop you from breaking the #1 rule of a dip shot. That being, don't go too far and split your pants right down the seam. This actually happened, and one of his groomsmen had to step up and swap out pants for him. So gentlemen in the audience, the moment that you get your fitting done, give it a test. See how the material's feeling. Now, as far as how to actually get one that looks good as far as a dip shot goes, since I've got a little bit of extra time, do we have anybody here that wants to try and give it a shot as far as getting a dip done? Not so much? I've got to volunteer, my wife. Let's give it up for Kirsten. I'm going to have to put the microphone down, so I hope you can forgive me. Now, she just got done with an ACL surgery, so the fact that she's doing this is kind of crazy. But basically, what you're going to do is, if you guys are the photographers, the groom or whoever is leading the dip shot wants to be the main person who is going to be facing towards it. So if you guys are the photographers, I'm going to have my shoulders straight towards you. Kirsten, you're going to step right into me, and your side is going to go right into my waist. And a lot of people think when you do a dip, it's kind of like a dip at the hips, but it's actually more like a step. So all you have to do is wrap around, put that hand on me if you can. I'm going to take one big step and just gently guide her back. And this is something that you can practice. You just go right here, go for a kiss, pop it back up. Thank you so much for that, Kirsten. So a dip shot is so classic, so timeless, so beautiful. As you can see in this photo right here, it looks absolutely astounding, as long as you don't split your pants. Beautiful opportunity to do it indoors, outdoors, during your sparkler ceremony or send-off. The only thing that I gotta say, practice. You gotta practice it, make sure it looks good. Practice in your pants, gentlemen. And there's no way to do it wrong apart from that one thing. Indoors, outdoors, darkness, looks amazing. Now, sunset photos. This is one of my favorites. So a sunset photo, it gives you a great opportunity to take a breather from the hustle and bustle of the reception. It's a beautiful, even, soft golden light. Us photographers, we really don't like to shoot photos during the middle of the day. As soon as the sun starts to dip over the horizon, that's when you have the most beautiful, even, flattering looking lighting. But the timing is the key. Now, I tend to work with all of my clients way in advance to plan out your timeline of coverage so that you have an idea of exactly what time is going to look best for your particular wedding day. And one thing that you can do is, if you already have your wedding day picked out, go to Google, right now you can even, and say, what time is the sun going to set on April 14th, or whatever your wedding day happens to be. However, the thing is, you gotta be really careful about that, because Google is gonna tell you that information for like aeronautical purposes. It's not gonna tell you what time the sun sets at your venue. And in our particular area, we got a lot of hills and valleys, and your wedding venue could be on the east side of Seneca Lake, and it looks amazing 45 minutes before the wedding. But if you're on the west side of Seneca Lake, you lose that sunlight. So take a look and just kind of keep that as a baseline and have a conversation with your photographer about what time would be best for your sunset photos. So just to give you kind of an idea of these photos, they look absolutely amazing. They have this beautiful golden glow. And now, I'm gonna show you a photo and tell you a story. This is one of my favorite brides that I worked with last year. Her name is Alyssa, that groom's name is Paul, and she wanted nothing more than to have a beautiful Seneca Lake sunset shot. They paid so much for this beautiful venue on the east side of Seneca Lake, and this is as best as it was gonna look all day. It was teetering on and off for rain all day long. And when we got outside, I could tell she was bumming. The clouds were really dark. She wasn't getting that amazing photo that she wanted to have. So what I did is a little photo magic.
3, 2, 1. Go for a kiss. Little highlight of orange on there.
This is really cool.
Then we got that one that looks like the sun's even dipping behind you too.
Oh,
Don't tell anyone, it's a little secret.
no way.
We made a fake sun.
So, if you get creative and you know your lighting, you can take one of these little guys right here, they call them gels, and they will just go and attach to your flash. And now this normally white bright light is now a very warm, very romantic, very beautiful looking light. And you can get so creative with these things. They make them in all sorts of different shapes, sizes, and colors. So if your color is green, you throw a green flash on there. If your color is orange, red, blue, yellow, magenta, customize it, make it look amazing. But for this particular photo, we wanted to get that sunset for Alyssa, and we got that sunset for Alyssa. Now there's a lot of other ways that you can be really cool and creative. Again, this couple, no sunset, but you get a little creative with how you shoot the photos, and you can still get these amazing looking photos. No sun, if you take a look, that's a rectangle. That's not a circle. But you wouldn't know that. It looks amazing. So no matter what, you can still end up with these beautiful, amazing looking photos. And then finally, and perhaps my favorite, is the silhouette shot. Now the silhouette can be done either indoors or outdoors. If it's outdoors, it'll be done late at night and you get this beautiful sky backdrop, but it really depends on what your sky's doing. If you don't have a lot of really cool clouds, you can't do much. If you're doing it indoors, uplighting, if your venue or your DJ offers uplighting, it looks amazing. So I would absolutely talk to your DJ or your wedding venue about that. But it can be one of the most technically complicated lighting setups for a photographer. So to give you an idea of what I'm talking about here, this is one particular example. This is a beautiful little barn venue, and they absolutely loved all of these little fairy tale and Edison style lights. So it looks absolutely stunning, and I really wanted to bring that to light with their wedding color, which was blue at the time, and really make these photos sing. You can do them indoors and integrate the chandeliers in your venue. You can do them outdoors and integrate some of the outdoor locations as well. And to give you an idea of exactly what this kind of thing looks like, because I'm sure it's kind of hard to visualize what this looks like behind the scenes, what I'm going to show you right here is a photo in front of a fireplace. You can't really see the fireplace right here, but you will in just a moment here. But I saw all of these beautiful uplights that are on display here. And I added a couple of these gels, these purple gels, in fact, to my flashes. And you'll see a little bit of what this looks like. I hope you like Come On, Eileen. So you can see the bride on the right, the groom on the left there. I've got my phone out to give a little bit of a reflection at the bottom here, so you'll see a reflection at the bottom of the lights at the top with my phone at the very front of the lens. Time the shot in between the DJ lights.
All right, guys, check it out. Oh, that's really cool.
So those photos will take a little bit of time to set up, but once you see it and once you get that up on your wall, you will see that it is well worth the time and the investment for that particular image. So you've got that purple from that gel silhouetting them. You've got the orange glow from the fireplace. You can practically hear it and feel the warmth off of it. This reflection down here is just simply my cell phone holding it right up to the lens and making that beautiful reflection right there. So there are so many ways that you can creatively integrate your environment into your photography. And if it's a little bit easier for you to see, I've got a brighter version right up on the screen here. So thank you, everybody who decided to hang out and stick around for me today. I really appreciate it. You can find a little bit more about my work at chrisgoldenphotography.com. If you're looking for a videographer, definitely check out Tom Mandolino and tell him that I sent you. And I know that we've kind of gotten down to the wire as far as this event goes. But I do think that there is one final question that I want to leave you guys with. This presentation, I called it the 5 must-have wedding photos. And in reality, there's only one must-have wedding photo. And I'm going to kind of paint a picture for you guys. And you're going to kind of have to go along with me. But this is the only way to figure out what the one photo that you need to get on your wedding day is. I want you to take a trip 3 years past your wedding date, and absolutely everything was amazing. It went perfect, to the T. And you guys are just kind of chilling out, hanging out on a lazy Sunday, having a great time, enjoying each other's company. If you got pets, maybe they're running around. If you got kids, maybe they're causing a ruckus in the background, but you guys are just chilling, hanging out, having a cup of coffee. And your spouse reaches over and grabs their wedding day album. And you kind of start flipping through it and kind of taking you back to these times. You're having a great time reliving your wedding day memories and letting it all flood back to you. And as you flip through these pages, you realize that you are just beaming from ear to ear. You've got the biggest smile on your face. And then as they go to flip the next page, you stop them in their tracks. And you realize that you're looking at one photo in particular that looks incredible. And it makes you stop in your place. And it time machines you back 3 years in the past to that amazing day. And the photo on that page is your one must-have wedding photo. And you need to think about who is in that photo and what are they doing. So who is in the photo that gets you to stop in place, and what are they doing on their wedding day? And that's the one must-have wedding photo that you need to have for your wedding. Thank you all so much. I appreciate your time.